Dhaka Bahadur Oli, aged 81, of Luham VDC of Salyan district, looks happy, but in reality he is not. He had to leave the place where he was born and spend his childhood. He was forced to leave his village after the water source there dried up and a severe water crisis emerged.
पहिले यस्तो गरम हुँदैन थियो यदि मच्छर किराहरू लाग्दैन थियो हर ठाउँतिर गए पनि ठन्डा पानी खान पाइन्छ त्यसले पानीको जलमूलहरू सुके जलमूल नभएर हामीले माथिको त्यस्तो बस्ती छोडेर हामी तल आएर पानीको आराधनमा हामी बस्नु परेको छ सर पानी छैन त्यस ठाउँमा यहाँ माथि नभइदियो हामी तल सर्यौँ साह्रै समस्या छ सर
There used to be plenty of water in the village in the past. He does not know how the water source dried up. It's now that he realizes that this was due to the effect of climate change. He was made aware about this by the resource persons who came to his village for preparing local adaptation plans for action. Dila Sarma of Dharmakot area of Salyan district had never felt so much warmth. In the past, the mountains used to be clad in thick snow. Now she is surprised to see such changes in the weather pattern as compared from the past 38 to 40 years, when the cold weather started from October and continued up to March.
पहिलाकोमा पानी मौसम पानी पर्ने समयमा पानी परिरहेको थियो डाँडा काँडा हिउँहरू देखिरहन्थ्यो अहिले धेरै फरक भएको छ पानी पर्ने समयमा पानी परेको छैन अनि त्यो डाँडा काँडा हिउँ देखिने ठाउँमा हिउँ देखिँदैन अनि पानीको मुहानहरू सुकिरहेछ 2-3 घण्टाको बाटो हिँडेर पानी ल्याउन जानुपर्छ पानी ल्याउन जाँदा पनि पानी पाइँदैन अनि पानीको लाइन लाग्नुपर्छ
अहिले त धेरै फरक छ सर पहिले के थियो भने हाम्रो पालामा पानी अघि समयमा पर्थ्यो धेरै पानीहरू पर्थ्यो समयमा खेती लाग्थ्यो अनि हिउँदो पनि पानी पर्थ्यो जाडो धेरै हुन्थ्यो अहिले त धेरै फरक छ हजुर अहिले त पानी पनि धेरै कम भइसक्यो जाडो पनि कम भइसक्यो समयमा पानी नपर्नाले सुक्खा खराइट धेरै भयो पहिले आए
सानोमा हुँदाखेरि अब बर्खायाममा पानी पर्छ अनि खोला नाला आउँछ स्कुल जाँदाखेरि बाढी तरेर खोला पारी जानुपर्ने मेरो घर चाहिँ छाया क्षेत्र लाइनमा पर्थ्यो अनि हामी सङ्खुवाल पढ्न आउँथ्यौँ त्यतिखेर हामी बर्खायाममा खोला तरेर सङ्खुवाल आउन अलिकति गाह्रो हुन्थ्यो हामीहरूलाई अहिले अब त्यतिको बाढीहरू आउने गरेको पाइँदैन कहिलेकाहीँ मात्रै आउने गर्छ अगाडि जस्तो आउने गर्दैन अनि सुरुमा त कहिलेकाहीँ हिउँ पनि एकपटक त हिउँ पनि परेको थियो हामी सानो उमेर हुँदाखेरि अहिले अब यता कता असिनाहरू पर्ने गर्छ र पानीमा पनि पहिलेको भन्दा अहिले अलि बेमौसमी भन्नाले अब चाहिएको अवस्थामा नपर्ने र यसो फाटोफुटीसँग पर्ने गरेको छ बाढीहरूमा पनि कमजोरी आएको छ पानीको अनुकूलताले गर्दा बाली बोटमा पनि अब कमजोरी भएको छ पानीका मुहानहरू पनि सुक्ने गरेका छन् बाढी पहिरोहरू आउने यस्ता किसिमका अब अलिकति क्षतिग्रस्त
In line with this people's perception, research and studies have concluded that Nepal has been facing increased trend of temperature, though it has very less contribution in the global greenhouse gas emission. Those mountains, which used to be covered with thick snow 30 to 40 years ago, are now bare. Whether it is human beings or animals, all are not spared from the effect of increased temperature. People are suffering from shortage of water. Farmers have been facing problems of drought and flood. Reduction in quantity and quality of crops and degradation of soil and water environment through the high intensification of insecticides and pesticides, increasing rate in greenhouse gas emission due to industrialization, forest degradation, deforestation, with the increasing population have been compounding the problem. We cannot stop the trend of climate change, but certainly we can reduce the effects by implementing different programs related with adaptation. With this thought, the government of Nepal prepared the National Adaptation Program of Action (LAPA) in the year 2010 with the objective of improving the living standard of people through socio-economic development, by reducing the effect of climate change, adopting climate-friendly behavior and low-carbon emission technology. The government of Nepal has also prepared Climate Change Policy 2011. To operationalize LAPA, Local Adaptation Plans for Actions LAPA are being formulated at the local level with participation of local people after identifying local adaptation works, formulating plan and incorporating adaptation aspect in the sector-wise plans. The Adaptation for Smallholder in Hilly Areas ASHA Project under the Ministry of Forests and Soil Conservation of the Government of Nepal has been implementing LAPA program with the financial grant from the International Fund for Agriculture Development. The main objective of the program is to reduce the effects of climate change to smallholders of hilly areas and to enhance their adaptation capacity for climate change effect, downscale the vulnerabilities, and to uplift their livelihood capacity through the production of profitable options and building climate-resilient system. The project has been implemented in 6 districts, namely Rolpa, Rukum, Salyan, Jajarkot, Dailek, and Kalikot. The core area of project is to prepare the local adaptation plans for actions with enhanced approach and to implement the climate-resilient interventions through the LAPA. While preparing LAPA under ASHA Project, the Geographic Information System-based sub-watershed assessment and participatory scenario development approaches have been integrated in the steps of LAPA preparation process given by the Government of Nepal's LAPA framework.
सरकारवाला निकायहरूलाई के हो त जलवायु परिवर्तन किन यस्तो भइरहेछ र यो जलवायु परिवर्तनको कारणले गर्दा के असर परिरहेछ के कुरा हामीले भोगिरहेछौं त्यो असर त हामीले भोग्यौं अब त्यसबाट बच्नको लागि कस्ता खाले योजनाहरू हामीले स्थानीय स्तरबाट ल्याउन सक्छौं कसरी ल्याउन सक्छौं के प्रक्रिया हो त त्यो ल्याउने भन्ने कुरा अब त्यो प्रक्रियाबाट जानकारी गराउँछौं.
Ultimately, this integration of approaches will enhance the adaptation plan prepared at the local level. The analysis of land use, land cover, and climate-induced hazards like landslide, soil erosion, forest fire are being mapped and analyzed at sub-watershed level with the use of Geographic Information System tool. This approach takes into consideration the upstream and downstream area of sub-watershed and does identification, mapping, and scientific analysis with the use of GIS. While following the local perception through the participatory approach, current and future scenarios of socio and economic challenges of climate change are analyzed and adaptation options will be identified and prioritized. While making such plan, not only the present socio-economic context is analyzed, but future socio-economic context is also being taken into consideration. So, the information received from the scientific approach will be integrated with the participatory approach. Scientific analysis and information done at the sub-watershed or municipalities and rural municipalities will be downscaled into the ward and settlement level, whereas the climatic vulnerability analysis and adaptation assessment gathered from the local perceptions will be upscaled from settlement to ward and the rural municipalities and municipalities level. The blending or integration of these scientific information and local perception will be done to identify the vulnerability spots beyond the boundaries and identification prioritization of adaptation options by addressing current and future vulnerabilities. The in-house spatial unit of ASHA are conducting sub-watershed level analysis and providing these information to the LAPA preparation team. LAPA preparation team will triangulate these scientific information with the information collected from the local perceptions from the settlement, ward and municipalities. During settlement and ward level workshops, climate change issues and the effect of climatic change in the past and present are being discussed rigorously with local people and key stakeholders. Similarly, seasonal calendar, participatory hazard mapping, historical timeline for the climatic effects, livelihood assessment, hazard ranking, and then adaptation capacity assessment are being prepared based on the discussion and interaction with the local people. In this process, issues like what are the changes in the field of climate change in the past few years, what are the effects of it, what are the losses from it, what could be the possible options to adapt with climatic vulnerabilities are being analyzed. Similarly, the issues like how people are managing their livelihoods and what are the problems they have been facing in livelihoods are being discussed with local people. Similarly, mapping is being done about the physical and other resources available at the local level. Extensive discussion has been initiated with the possible areas of climatic hazard, mapping of climatic hazard-prone areas such as landslides, soil erosion, and available resources is being done with active involvement of local people. Women and children are most affected from the effects of climate change. If women-friendly interventions or drudgery reduction technologies are being implemented in the societies, the program will be successful and sustainable. So, gender analysis is being considered at both settlement and ward-level interaction workshops. Similarly, there used to be extensive discussion on the topics like analysis of climate change-affected communities, climate change-sensitive approaches, identification of adaptation process and prioritizing it, and formulation of LAPA. The effect of climate change is very prominent at the local level, with the farmland converting into drought land and drying of streams and rivers, loss of assets and casualties from heavy flood and landslides during the monsoon and post-monsoon period. Thus, the lifestyle of smallholder farmers of the hilly area is even more vulnerable. Smallholder farmers have been facing tough times as they are the witness of blooming of flowers in off-season, extinction of species, high prevalence rate of different kind of insects and diseases triggered from climatic change. It is realized that programs without the participation of local people will not give good results, even if these programs are very good. The ASHA Project has emphasized participation of the local people in enhanced LAPA preparation process. Furthermore, ASHA considered for upstream and downstream concept of vulnerability spot identification and better adjustment of adaptation option by envisioning current and future scenarios for addressing the issues of agriculture and food security, forest and biodiversity, water resource and infrastructure related to climatic hazards. As local communities have been identifying climatic issues on the agriculture and food security, forest and biodiversity, water resources and energy, and physical infrastructures. In order to address these issues, the LAPA better reflects the local needs and aspirations rather than other programs. Realizing the same fact, ASHA Project has been prioritizing the adaptation options and the formulation of local adaptation plans for action with the direct involvement of local communities. so as to better address the climatic vulnerabilities at the smallholders' household, settlement community, municipality, provinces, and to the nation. The LAPA is Local People's Adaptation Plan. The rural municipality shall take ownership after it would be endorsed through the Rural Municipality Council. Based on this document, provincial and central governments will support different programs of the local level, including the Adaptation for Smallholders in Hilly Areas project. Recently, elected local representatives also became encouraged once they knew LAPA was prepared in their rural municipality. They informed that they will support the programs related with climate change adaptation, as they believe that LAPA will be useful to knock other agencies for climate change adaptation.
संरक्षणको लागि तारजाली भयो, वृक्षारोपणहरू भए, अब यिनी कुलाहरू हाम्रो पानी मुहानमा अब थोरै सानो पानी भए पनि त्यसलाई राम्रोसित हामीले अब सिमेन्टेड आरसीसी गर्यौं भनेपछि अब त्यो जति मुहानमा छ त्यति तल चाहिने ठाउँमा आइपुग्छ। त्यसको लागि पनि अब व्यवस्था अब हामीले पनि गर्नेछौँ र हजुरहरूले पनि यो संस्थाले पनि अब संस्था त धेरै राम्रो काम गर्छ जस्तो लाग्यो सर।
The local communities are really encouraged from the process of LAPA preparation and implementation. Overwhelming responses are there for ASHA to show their best effort in ground by building climate adaptive societies.
विशेष गरी हराभरा जंगल बनाउनलाई खाली जग्गाहरू छन्। त्यो जंगलहरूलाई हामीलाई केही खेर गएको जंगललाई यतिकै पर्ति बसेको जग्गालाई हामीहरूले केही गरी खाऊ भनेर त्यसको केही वर्षसम्म उब्जनीको लागि बोट बिरुवाहरू केही अलिकति राहत दिएर महिला दिदीबहिनीहरूलाई सक्रिय बनाएर त्यसबाट वन जंगलले पनि दिने सेवा पाउने खाली जग्गाहरूको पनि संरक्षण हुने केही त्यसबाट फलफुलहरू रोपेर हामीहरूले आम्दानी पनि गर्न सक्ने वनको स्रोतबाट सर। हामी यतिकै के गरौँ भनेर छटपटी राखेका छौँ। गाउँघरका दिदीबहिनीहरू सिप छैन, हामीले पढे लेखेका दिदीबहिनीहरू त जागिर खाएर उहाँहरू जिउन सक्नु भएको छ। हामीहरू छोराछोरीलाई कापी कलम किन्नलाई फिसहरू तिर्नलाई हाम्रो उपाय केही छैन। हामी भन्दा पछाडिका दिदीबहिनीहरू धेरै हुनुहुन्छ र उहाँहरूलाई यो अनुकूलन योजनाले विकास र निकास साथै आयमूलक सिपलाई मध्यनजर राखिदिनुहुन्छ भन्ने म आशावादी छु सर।
ओडालाई चाहिँ आय आर्जनको रूपमा कार्यक्रम गर्दाखेरि है अब जस्तै यो चाहिँ हाम्रो पहाडी इलाका हो है, अब हामीले चाहिँ विभिन्न किसिमका किसानहरूले हैन कृषि उत्पादन गर्ने थलो छ हैन। हामीले चाहिँ अब जस्तै अब कुनै तरकारी खेती भनौँ हैन, बाख्रा पालन हैन, त्यस्तो चाहिँ अब त्यो आय आर्जनको चाहिँ अलिकति हुने खालको तरिकाले हामीले चाहिँ विभिन्न किसिम पालनहरू हैन, अब त्यस्तै अब मान्यौ हैन कुनै चाहिँ अलि उन्नत जातको चाहिँ बाली नालीहरू है त्यस्तो तरिकाले गरेपछि आय आर्जनतिर हुन्छ। अर्को चाहिँ खानेपानीको सवाल कुरा गर्दाखेरि खानेपानी हाम्रो चाहिँ यो गाउँठाउँमा यो ओडामा चाहिँ खानेपानीको साह्रै अभाव छ हैन। किन भन्दाखेरि हामीले चाहिँ सोलरबाट निकालेको सोलरले चाहिँ माथि फालेको पानी हामीले चाहिँ खाने गरिराखेका छौँ हैन। त्यसको सट्टा खानेपानीको विभिन्न मुहानहरू स्रोतहरू हाम्रो चाहिँ पहिलाको भन्दा कम हुँदै गइरहेछ हैन। तिनको व्यवस्था गर्नको लागि त्यो खानेपानीको हामीले चाहिँ विभिन्न मुहानहरूलाई चाहिँ संरक्षण गरेर हामीले चाहिँ यो ओडासम्म खानेपानीको व्यवस्था राम्रो गर्ने चाहिँ योजना भएर राम्रो होला जस्तो लाग्छ।
By preparing LAPA with the involvement of people and acknowledging their perceptions, the Adaptation for Smallholders in Hilly Areas project has disseminated the message that only the programs prepared with participation of people will have local ownership, can contribute for the real target group for their betterment, downscaling vulnerability, and helps to make the program sustainable. The success of the program endorsed by LAPA will depend on the implementation side. So, the coming 3 years are the crucial period for Adaptation for Smallholders in Hilly Areas project to show their best effort and reach to the people with their hope and aspiration. If there is support from all sides, the project will bring visible changes in the 6 program implemented districts.